Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I have something that I'd like to talk to you about today. Actually, I have something that I'd like to review for you today. I'm finally adding a new packer review to my Bag of Dicks series. Banabuddy was kind enough to send me out one of their pack and play packers prosthetics to try out, so I'm going to review that for you guys today. I'm actually really excited. I haven't done a packer review video in a while, so I was really stoked when this company reached out to me and told me that they would like me to review one of their products for them. So if you haven't seen any of my previous Bag of Dicks reviews, we kind of go off of a couple factors when I'm reviewing these packers. We go off of affordability, variability, realisticness. I'm not really sure if realisticness is a word, but that's the term that we use for this channel anyways. And then finally, durability and usability. So those are all of the factors that go into account in my final score for these packer reviews. Everything is scored on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. And then at the end, of course, we average up all of these scores, and that is the overall score that the packer gets. Before we get into the review of this packer, I just wanted to let you guys know to stick around to the end, because at the end of this video I will be giving you a discount code that will get you $20 off of your order. I love this packer. I think it's an overall a really good starter packer to have. So yeah, stick around to the end of this video and I'll give you guys that coupon code that you can use. And without further ado, let's get into the review. So the packer that I'm reviewing for you guys today is Banabuddy's 5.7-inch play packer. It is technically labeled as a pack and play, but for reasons that I'll get into later, I would not recommend this for packing. I would only recommend this for playing, unless you like the illusion of constantly having a large boner in your pants. The specific model that I was given to review is the 5.7-inch C2. That's the color that I chose. They have about 10 colors on their website. C2 is just the one that I picked, and I opted to get the packer without pubic hair. So again, as we go through this review, I will explain this more in depth, but that's the model that I was given, 5.7-inch C2 sans pubic hair. Okay, keep that in mind. I am going to show you guys the packer here. Hopefully it doesn't get taken down, but yeah, I'll go ahead and pull it out for you guys. So when the package arrived, it arrived in one of those basic cardboard boxes. It was very nondescript, so if you're worried about discreet packaging or anything like that, no need to worry. The actual box that the package itself comes in is just like a plain cardboard box, like I said. But once you open the actual box, this is what my packer was delivered in. It's a very nice box actually. It says Banabuddy on it. Very cute box. My first thought when I pulled this box out of the actual package was, holy shit, this is fucking heavy. And that's another thing that we'll get into later on in the review. So the packaging itself is great. The packer is obviously very well cared for. The actual packer itself is tucked away inside this box, and it comes in this little felt bag. So this is great. This is awesome for storage. If you're the type of person that doesn't have like a designated area where you keep your packers, then having this bag is very handy, because once you clean it after use, you can just tuck it in here, keep it in like a drawer somewhere, and you can basically forget about it. You don't need to worry about it getting damaged or anything like that. Also inside of this box are some adhesive strips, because these packers are very similar to the Real Magic packers and like the MSO packers and things like that, where they have that like tab of skin on the back of the packer, and so they send you these adhesive tabs that attach to the tab, the skin tab, and then you can therefore attach it to your own body. I did attempt this, and we'll get into that later on when it comes to wearability. Just letting you know that it does come in the box. So as far as affordability goes, now that I've talked a little bit about what comes in the box and things like that, this packer costs $289 US, and the price does vary depending on what color you get, whether or not you opt for pubic hair or no pubic hair, and then of course on top of that the shipping costs. So just keep that in mind when you're ordering from this place. So overall, for affordability, I'm gonna go ahead and give this packer a 4 out of 10. Again, just because $289 for a baseline packer, no pubic hair, no added details or anything like that, it's pretty steep. However, the features of this packer and what comes in the box with the care bag and then the adhesive strips included as well, I feel like that's a pretty solid deal. Especially for the quality of this packer. $289 is not that steep of a price tag in comparison to, say, Real Magic or MSO and those sites where you have to pay extra for details or for adhesives and things like that. So moving on from affordability, we're going to go into variability. Like I said, I have the C2 shade of the packer. On their website there is 10 total shades, so I feel like that's a pretty good amount of variability for just like the color of the silicone, the packer itself. However, if you opt to do pubic hair, it's only one color of pubic hair, and it's like brunette brownish looking color. So obviously I don't have that color pubic hair, so I opted not to get any pubic hair. If that's your style, if that's your color and you would like pubic hair, you know, that's great, but that is the only option available for that. So overall, I'm going to give the variability of this packer a 7 out of 10, just because it does come in quite a lot of colors, but the pubic hair is a bit lacking in that area, I guess. So now we're going to move on to the realisticness, or how realistic this packer is. I am going to show the packer here on screen now, so if for whatever reason you're not comfortable seeing it, you can skip this section. YouTube, please don't take this video down. It's completely educational. So here is the packer itself. As you can see, this is the skin tab that I was talking about here earlier. This is where you attach the adhesive and then attach to your body. Now this thing is fucking heavy, so if you're planning on trying to attach this to your body, I tried, I was unsuccessful with the adhesive. I'm not sure if I'm just stupid and I couldn't figure out how to get the adhesives to work, or maybe the adhesives just aren't sticky enough, but I followed all the instructions. I shaved myself completely bald, which is something that I never do and I regretted almost instantly. And then I tried to attach and it stuck a little bit, and then it's just, I think it might just be too heavy for the strength of the adhesive that they give, and it just slowly started to peel away from my body like that. So I've only been able to use this with an actual harness, and not with just the adhesiveness. You might have a different experience. This is one of the most realistic packers I've owned. The firmness of the packer is very similar to a real erect, like cisgender penis. The details on the scrotum, very well done, even on the shaft and then on the tip as well. Yeah, so the details here on the shaft and everything, they just look really, really nice. It looks really well done in comparison to other packers that I've owned in the past. Obviously not the most realistic, but it does look very, very nice. Like, that's a nice packer, you can't deny that. This packer does come with floating testicles, so you can see here, you can like squish them, you can move them around, you can feel them in there. So that was a fun addition. I didn't know that before I ordered it. This packer is advertised as one of those where you can like inject your favorite lube inside of the shaft. And so then when you want to simulate ejaculation, all you have to do is just give the balls a firm squeeze, and then it will stimulate ejaculation. Your lube will shoot out, what have you. So you just have to be really, really thorough when you're cleaning it out and making sure that everything has been washed out. You don't want anything staying in there and getting old and funky and gross. And then the other point that kind of lowered the realistic score for me personally is they have movable foreskin on this. The movable foreskin is almost a little bit too movable. So when I'm going to insert the packer into something that is a bit tighter than, say, just jacking off with my hands, the foreskin sometimes gets in the way, and I have to almost like push it back into place. But that's literally the only downside. Those are the only issues I took with the realisticness of this packer. And another thing that I forgot to mention about the realisticness is that the paint job is just a little bit lackluster. It's just very basic. It's got a little bit of pink on the tip and on the scrotum, and the rest of it is just a single base color. Other than that, I gave it a 6 out of 10 on the realisticness scale. So the next factor that we're going to get into is the wearability of this packer. Can you pack with it? What does it feel like when you're using it for play? Things like that. So the score for wearability, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a 5 out of 10, and obviously I'm going to get into the reasons, but I was pretty disappointed with that score because when I first opened the package, when I first started looking at the packer and getting a feel for it,
that's what she said.
pun not intended, I was very excited with it, and then after a couple uses I kind of realized like, oh, it's not living up to my expectations. The first thing that did not live up to my expectations was, like I discussed earlier, the adhesive strips that they give were just not working out for me. Also, like I said earlier, this is advertised as a pack and play, but I would not recommend it for packing unless you are comfortable and enjoy the thought of constantly seeming aroused. The firmness of this packer, since it is constantly erect enough to be used in play, makes it so that you constantly look like you have a boner. So as far as wearability goes, yeah, I gave it an overall 5 out of 10. Next up is the durability. I haven't had this packer for very long. They sent me this packer over the new year, and so I've only had it for a couple of weeks. However, I have used it rather frequently since it arrived, and it's held up really well. Care for it is relatively straightforward and easy. I just wash it with a little bit of pH balanced soap, and after that I just let it air dry, or I dry it off with a microfiber towel, and I put it in the bag that it came in, and that's it. All I have to do is pop it into my drawer, and I forget about it until it's time to use it again. So for durability, I just give it a 9 out of 10. The last category that I'm going to talk to you guys about for this packer is its usability, which I'm going to give a 7 out of 10 for. So I'm only giving it a 7 out of 10 because, again, it is advertised as a pack and play, but in my opinion, due to its size and weight and the erectness of it, I would only recommend using this for play. Despite this, it's very easy to use, very simple, straightforward care like we've said, and the flat back that the packer has here is quite nice for play. Something that kind of irks me about other packers that I've used is that they are advertised as either 2-in-1s or 3-in-1s, and so they either have that hollow sort of like scooped back and you have to insert an erection rod. The hollow body and the pleasure pocket on the erection rod just does not feel good. The pleasure pockets that I've used with other packers in the past are too small, and so it's just uncomfortable and I don't really get a whole lot of sensation out of it. And if I'm not using an erection rod, the hollow bottom, like the hollow back of that packer, just offers no sort of friction whatsoever, and so it's not pleasurable for me to wear. That is not the case with this packer. The flat back of this packer offers just the right amount of friction and constant like contact, I guess, to where it feels very real when I'm using it. That's why I give this a 7 out of 10 for usability. So overall, the 5.7 play packer from Banabuddy gets a 6 out of 10 for me after averaging up everything. Not the best packer for packing, but one of the best that I've used for play. So yeah, overall, I would recommend this packer. It's good. It does what it's advertised. It's not as detailed as a Real Magic would be or as a one from MSL would be, but I personally really like it. If you are interested in buying this packer for yourself, I do have a gift code for you guys to use. You'll get $20 off any purchase of over $200 on all of their products on this website. So if you want to buy this packer, you get $20 off with my code. I'll put the code up here. It's aktdoa, my username, my name spelled differently, and I'll also be putting the code in the description of this video as well. So if you guys liked this review, they have lots of other options on their website as well. So if you're interested, go to the link in the description of this video, give it a look, and don't forget to use my code AKTDOA during checkout to get $20 off any purchase of $200 or more. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here at this point, I really appreciate you sticking around to the end. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this review or of this packer. I would love to hear your feedback in the comments down below, and I will see y'all in the next video.